Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmate. Ako nga po pala si Barnobal from Lapinig Northern Samar, and ito po ang aking video presentation. Welcome back. So ito na nga po. Ang napili ko pong topic sa Indigenous communities ay ang Tasaday group. Pero bago po tayo magsimula, ano nga bang tinatawag na Indigenous peoples? Indigenous people is also known in some region as First People, First Nation. So ibig sabihin po, sila po yung mga kauna-unahang tao na nanirahan sa kauna-unahang nasyon. Aboriginal people or native peoples are ethnic groups who are the original or earliest known inhabitants of an area. So, ang kauna-unahang nanirahan sa ating nasyon ng mga native groups ay ang ethnic groups. In contrast to groups that have settled, occupied, or colonized their area more recently. Groups are usually described as indigenous when they maintain tradition or other aspects of an early culture that associated with given region. Not all indigenous people share this characteristic, as many have adopted substantial elements of a colonizing culture such as dress, religion, or language. Indigenous peoples may be settled in a given region or exhibit a nomadic lifestyle across a large territory, but they are generally historically associated with a specific territory on which they depend. The indigenous societies are found in every inhabit climate zone and continent of the world except Antarctica.
Sa dulo ng kagubatan, sa isang lugar na halos abot mo na ang kalangitan, isang grupo ng tao ang natagpo ang naninirahan sa kuweba noong 1971. Nakabahag, primitibo, walang muwang sa modernong sibilisasyon. Isang mga ngaso sa pangalang Dafal ang nakadiskubre sa kanila at ang negosyanteng si Manda Elizalde ang nagpakilala sa kanila sa mundo. Tinawag silang Tasaday.
Ang Tasaday. Taong 1971, nang magpakilala ni Manuel Elizalde ang nagtatag ng kilosang pananim, ang 26 lihim na taong gubat sa Timog Cotabato bilang mga Tasaday, isang grupo ng mga tao na nakatira sa kuweba, primitibo, nakabahag at walang muwang sa modernong sibilisasyon. Suot ang mga dahon bilang damit at pagkagamitang gawa sa bato at kahoy. Idineklara sila ng international media bilang sa pinakamalagang anthropological discovery ng panahong iyon. Ngunit nang mapatalsik sa pwesto ang dating Pangulong Marcos, ay nagkaroon ng pagkakataon ng isang dayuhang manaliksik na balikan ang mga Tasaday. At sinabing umano ng mga Tasaday, di umano'y nagmagsasaka lamang at pinagsuot ng bahag para magkapangalan ng ating bansa. Para umusbong ang Kremeheng Marcos o mapagtakpan ang mga katiwalian sa pamahalaan kung meron man. Dahil dito, kinutya at tinawag ng mga sinungaling ang mga Tasaday. Sa isang pagtingin, may ituring na biktima ang mga Tasaday ng kagahaman at iba't ibang kasikatan at kapangyarihan.
26 lang ang mga Tasaday noon. Ibinida sila ni Elizalde at ni dating Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos sa mga dayuhang mamamahayag, anthropologist at iba pang personalidad. Sila ang nagsabing mula pa raw sa panahon ng Stone Age ang mga Tasaday. Nalathala sa dyaryo ang kanilang mga muka. Sa mundo ng karahasan at kasakiman, ang mga mahiyaing Tasaday ang naging imahe ng kapayapaan. 1986, isang dayuhang mamamahayag ang bumalik sa lugar ng tribo. Nakita niyang nakadamit na ang mga ito. Kasamang ilang anthropologists, idineklara nilang peke ang mga Tasaday. Mga magsasaka raw sila na pinagbihis lang ng bahag ni Elizalde para umarte sa harap ng kamera. Kinutya, pinagtawanan, tinawag na sinungaling ang mga Tasaday.
Tasaday group is a small group of people living in the highland rainforest of Mindanao in the Philippines. Before their existence was first reported by anthropological investigator in 1971, the Tasaday numbering about 25 individuals. apparently had been living virtually isolated, primitive existence until they were discovered by nearby settled tribes in 1966. Visiting anthropologists found cave-dwelling food gatherers whose subsistence was based on the wild yam. Other foods included tadpoles, frogs, small fish, crabs, grubs, palm fruits, and wild bananas. The Tasaday were dressed only in loincloths and a skirt made of orchid leaves, used only crude stone tools, axes and scrapers, and wooden implements, fire drills and digging sticks, and had no weapon for hunting or war. The discovery of Tasaday was hailed as one of the most intriguing anthropological finds of the century and received broad international media coverage. But questions about the authenticity of the Tasaday were raised in 1986 when they were revisited and found to be wearing Western clothing, using tools such as knives, mirror, and other modern goods. It was asserted that their ethnic and cultural identity were really a hoax perpetrated by officials of the regime of former Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos in order to garner publicity and eventually to somehow profit from the management of Tasaday forest lands. According to these later reports, the Tasaday were actually members of the nervy, more culturally advanced Manubo, Blit or Tibuli tribes, who had acted the part of the more primitive peoples at the pumping of Marcos' assistant on national minorities. Nevertheless, linguistic evidence obtained during the earlier anthropological study, however incomplete, seemed to indicate that the Tasaday were indeed isolated, though the Philippine government may have encouraged the people to feign a more primitive lifestyle than the which they actually live.